Hi there folks, welcome back to the IB and Andy Fishing Channel. I hope you're doing really well. It is a beautiful sunny day here in Derbyshire. It's the second week of March, and actually this is quite an important day because this is the last time this season that I'm going to be coming out fishing for grayling. Mixture of things, super busy with work coming up, sorting out flies and stuff like that. Secondly, the weather looks like it's about to turn really bad. In fact, I had no plan to come out today until late last night when I checked the weather forecast, saw what was coming and thought, geez, if I'm going to get out, I'm going to have to do it tomorrow. So here we are. I bought out two nymphing rods, but one of the nymphing rods, as I've mentioned in previous vlog, can actually be used as a dry fly rod. It's actually an adjustable rod, and if it looks like there's going to be fish rising on the surface consistently, I'm going to switch over, and fingers crossed, my big ambition for today is just to get one grayling on a dry fly. Past that, the plan is just to have some fun, enjoy the last day fishing for these guys for a few months, and hopefully try and catch a few fish. I hope you guys enjoy it. I want to get in the water. Righty, so first pool of the day, and I'll be honest with you, this one is a little bit of a shock. In the last time I saw this place here, there was a whacking great tree down just to my right hand side that's now gone. I've no idea when it went or how it went. I assume it's been picked up in a flood because there's no evidence it's been pulled out by the water authorities or anything. It's just been taken away, and it's totally changed this pool from being quite a deep scour to what looks actually relatively shallow. It still looks nice though, it looks great, it's good gravel, it's good habitat. Still confident there's going to be a few fish here. Because of the breeze that's picked up just in the last few minutes, I've actually come in with the indicator first. And on there I've got a 4mm point fly, and then I've got a baby pink bead and a pink tag on the top dropper, and that should be enough weight to get me down. I've gone relatively natural looking on the flies just because the water is so clear, and this water is absolutely ludicrously clear for this time of year. Clear to the point where it concerns me. This river shouldn't look like this in the middle of March. It should be an absolute raging torrent. It's a problem on a few levels. The most important one is that it means that there's not a lot of water coming down. It's been a pretty dry last month or so, and it just shouldn't be dry at this time of year. That means that the aquifers aren't going to be filled up, and there's potential for us to have problems with low water in the summer. More short term, it means that actually it's just harder to catch these fish because they're in much clearer water. They'll be more spooky, will be more obvious. So again, the indicator just keeps us away from the fish slightly. Just the first couple of casts, I can see the rig's working nicely. It is ticking along the bottom, but it's not constantly getting pulled under, which is exactly what we want. Just ticking along nicely, but no big false indications, he says. Couldn't have timed that any better. It's interesting, I'm finding here that as I start to make casts further across, and this one isn't, as I start to make casts further across, I'm finding the riverbed a little bit less often, which suggests that maybe there's a very deep scour on the far side. Let's just try that one a bit further across. There is a foam line over there that's landed right in it, so that's nice. Nice early mend. Let's just see what kind of contact we've got with the riverbed there. We've got contact with a fish. That'll do. no need to contact the riverbed if you're making contact with grayling. It's funny how kind of mindset changes on stuff, isn't it? I wasn't looking for a fish there at all. I was just trying to hit the bottom of the river, and under it goes, and within kind of 3 or 4 minutes of starting fishing, we've got a bent rod and what looks like a reasonable grayling on. Using me as a flow deflector at the moment, that's absolutely fine. Minimises the pressure on the rig. The whole time he's there, he's got to work hard, so that's absolutely fine. I'm in a pretty difficult place to land a fish here. I haven't got any slower water, so actually using me is going to be the best way of getting this fish in. That was lovely, just got a glimpse of the dorsal coming out above the surface of the water. A few flies hatching in the background. Geez, it feels like spring today. Perfectly reasonable grayling that as well, it's a nice fish. It's taken that 4mm point fly, the green butt one. Absolutely lethal. In you come, but that'll do. Yeah, nice fish. That is a fat grayling right there. Look at that, look how broad it is. Right chunk. A good start, that's what that is. Nice. Righty, let's try and hit the riverbed over there again. Let's try and hit the bed in that deeper stuff. Hopefully there's a few over there. It's probably not quite as far over as the previous cast. It's a little bit short of the bubble line, but we'll give it a chance. That is definitely down. Ooh, I was a bit slow on that. I got distracted by watching a fly hatch. Jeez, that wind is ripping. Definitely on the right technique for the moment. Okay, so I'm going to take a couple of steps upstream, just like I did previously. If it doesn't work out, actually I might have a go a bit further downstream here, because that's an area that, well, up until today I haven't been able to get a fly in there for about 4 years because of a tree that came down. So nothing else going on up there. I have, as I said, just dropped down a little bit, and this really is just a few curiosity casts. Geez, it must be 3, 4, maybe 5 years since I've been able to get a cast through this area. I know there's a slightly deeper scour on the far side. I mean, while this water's so clear you can actually see it, but I've always known it's there. There was just a whacking great tree in the way. Now there isn't. Interesting to see how this fish is. I'm not going to go too far over to start with, because that's actually pretty much bang in it there. Actually went through quite nicely. If anything, it hasn't ticked a whole lot at all. There's me thinking that might be too heavy. It might be too light. I need to not get drawn too far over too quickly here. Instinctively I want to get right underneath those branches, and that is a bad idea because I don't want to mess this up early. There we go. Geez, that was just a tap as well. Oh, he's off. Wasn't much to strike at there. I'll be honest, I'm not really sure why I struck there, because that could just as easily have just been the bottom. I don't know, it was just such a sharp movement and I felt inclined to hit it. There we go, bit further over, there's a fish. Don't think that's a grayling though, I've got a feeling that's going to be a trout. The way it's gone downstream of me and just kind of stayed there tumbling. Nah, this must be a trout. Yeah, Bruni, couple of weeks time mate, you'll be absolutely fine, but for the moment you're not the one. Pretty fish, just a couple of weeks too soon. So catching that trout just kind of inspired me to natural out the rig a little bit, so I've changed those droppers. So I've now got on the top dropper just a nice pale pink shrimp. Nothing too rocket sciencey, grayling catcher. On the middle dropper I've got the mini pink quill, nice subtle, but just enough there. It's a nice flying clear water conditions, that thing. I reckon it's well worth a go, could be in its element today. There is actually, the more I've stood here and looked at this pool, now I will say it again, this is pretty much a brand new piece of water to me, just this area here. There's a nice seam on the far side that I might be able to fish from slightly further downstream. There's a fish. So I've actually walked probably way out of shot of the main camera. I'll try and take a few steps back upstream. I just got curious about this pool further down. As I say, it's new water, and it's just that there's something in me when there's somewhere that I haven't been able to fish, or there's somewhere that I haven't fished at all before. I always want to go and fish it. So I decided to take the time to just drop downstream a little bit and try a few casts at the bottom end of where I spent the last kind of 5-10 minutes fishing, and within 2 or 3 casts of being there, I've actually hooked a fish. Should be coming somewhere near the camera now. Yeah, grayling on that mini pink quill. Okie doke, righty, so we'll get him unhooked, and I may just take the camera down with me and we'll have a few more casts at the bottom of this. Wiry little guy, not quite as big as the previous fish, but definitely welcome, possibly a sign of a shoal of fish further downstream for us to have a go at. I'd possibly have too much weight on the point fly here. I'm getting a lot of quite heavy false indications. There we go, there's another one. I thought there ought to be one over there somewhere, and that's roughly the same area as the previous fish, although that one's not a grayling. Ah, these guys. Just wish there was a way of avoiding them. It's a nice fish, it's a lovely brownie. Just not yet. That'll do. You keep moving, there we go. Nice wildie. Okay, and he's on that mini pink quill. Gorgeous wild fish. Can never be unhappy catching those. Just wish it was in the trout season. So what interests me about that is that was basically exactly the same place as I had the grayling, which was slightly further across. Let's try that, and getting towards where these branches are dangling into the water on the downstream side of me, around there. Could that be an area where there's a little pocket of fish maybe? Let's just try and push that one across again slightly. Might have pushed it a bit too far, to be honest. I can see there it's not particularly deep. Be interesting to see how this goes through. Same kind of line. Okay doke, so I've had a bit of a move. None of the places that I've fished so far are the places that I intended to fish when I came out today. I just got drawn towards what is a relatively new piece of water, just wanted to explore it. It's been nice, even though the fishing hasn't been easy, it's been nice to have a couple of casts in a new spot. A couple of grayling, one lost, couple of trout. It's not the end of the world for the first kind of half an hour or so, but as we start to move up this pool, I start to get towards the areas where I'm expecting to find fish. Ooh. I'm not going to go too far over to start with. I've stuck with the same flies, I'm confident with those. Catching the bottom a little bit more than I'd like maybe. I'm going to stick with this because I know that as we go across this we'll get a little bit deeper. We'll need the extra weight on the point. Okay, a couple of minutes in on this one, no fish yet. I'm a little bit surprised at that, there's no panic just yet. Don't feel like the flies are too far wrong given the conditions, I think they're probably about right. Presentation I think is pretty good. I'm getting down, but I'm getting good solid drifts, you know. I'm not having to strike and strike again over and over. Oh, it's a big snag. I knew there was a snag up there. I just can't see it at the moment. On account of snagging that up and having to go across and kick it off, I've actually made a quick move. I think it's pretty likely that that place is going to be quiet now for the next half an hour or so. Might drop down there in a bit. So I've come up to a pool that I definitely intended to fish, just perhaps not quite this early in the day. Pool I've done well from in the past, it's sometimes done some bigger fish. There's also a snag there that didn't used to be. Actually, we'll talk about this while I'm going across. So I'm not one of the people who will just pull for a break, particularly if I'm using 3 flies. I always dread the idea of leaving flies floating in a current because they're just a fish magnet. So where possible, I'll always try and go across and get them back. Obviously, that would have just knackered this back end of this pool totally. It's not often you get snagged up in here, but there's loads of space in this one. And to be honest, where that was probably isn't the line where I'm expecting to find the fish anyway, so it's no biggie. Nice long gravel straight that deepens out as it goes upstream, so possibility of picking a few up at the back here, but I'm expecting the majority of the fish that I find in this pool to be a little bit further up. There's a line maybe 2/3 of the way across on this one where I might expect to find a few fish at the back, yeah, about there. So we'll try a couple of drifts down there. I've stuck with the same flies, no reason not to be confident with those. Stuck with the same rig. I think the Nymphing would be difficult in this upstream breeze. We're going to stick with what we're doing for the moment. If it continues to not work, obviously, yeah, we're going to have to start making changes, and we'll start with the flies. Ah, there we go, that'll do. That reassures me that what we're doing might work. Always like a nicely timed fish. Definitely a grayling as well. I've seen him tumbling around just at the back there. He just drops off a little bit actually there. I think he's taken that mini pin quill again. Yeah, middle dropper. Nice. Real wiry guy again. Nice fish, pretty fish. And gives me something to go at the back of this pool. So we'll try that. I think we'll just make that kind of similar cast. Just see if we can find fish at the back. It just starts to drop off. It's still on the shallows there, as you can see from the way the indicator's bobbling around, but from about here it starts to drop in depth. Possibility, oh, that went again there. Possibility there could be a few fish on that drop. There we go. There's one, a little bit further over. That's that 2/3 line that I talked about actually when I climbed in. Geez, it feels like spring. There's fish rising, the sun's out. It's not terribly cold, it's not warm, but it's not freezing. That's a reasonable fish as well. That one's taken the point fly that time. Beautiful in that clear water in the sun. Yeah, nice fish that. Probably the biggest one of the day so far. Yeah, lovely fish. Nice fish. Come on. There we go. Yeah, that is a nice one. Happy with that. That's beauty. Look how fat they are at the moment, in such good condition. Point fly fell out in the net, that's nice. That's a belter. That's a really nice one. Ooh, off he goes. Nice release. Let's try that. That's over there. Wonder if I need to just lighten that point fly up a little bit. It's just getting dragged under a bit too much, this indicator at the moment. It's a great area. I've just heard a fish rise, I didn't see it. Definitely heard one rise. Okie doke, so nothing else really going on that cast across the river, so I'm going to switch back round and do what I kind of came down here to do in the first place, which was to fish this upstream with the indicator. Great water ahead of me. It might necessitate the need of a heavier point fly. I want to give this lighter rig a chance first. What's that? That's a nice grayling. Okay, right. I think that's a really good fish. I haven't had a proper look at it yet, but I'm pretty sure that was a really good grayling. Just got a bit of flank as it turned away. I'll be honest, when I first struck it, I thought I'd hook the bottom. Got a feeling that's going to be a nice grayling. Be a bit carefully because I'm only on 2.5 pound tippet. Seen a rise on the far bank again. So that fish was just on the flat. It wasn't in the depth. I'll be honest, I was probably a couple of casts away there from moving off into some slightly deeper water. And that's taking line, so if it is a grayling, I'm almost certain I saw that as a grayling. If it is a grayling, it's a good one. This will be really interesting. I'll be honest, my heart's absolutely pounding at the moment because I was almost certain that was a grayling. But he's really got his head down. Fortunately, he's upstream of me, so he's having to work pretty hard. What have we got? It's pretty close to me. Now, it is a grayling as well. It's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, he's just flown off. Yeah, he's gone absolutely roaring off. I need to turn that drag down a little bit. Okay, let's get him this way. That's a really good fish. I might have to follow this down. I'm probably going to have to go out the main camera. Yeah, and we'll land the fish rather than make it look pretty. That's a real good one. It's not often you get a grayling that does this. He is torn off. I'm almost back down where I started. I wonder if I can get around the other side of it. Okie doke. In a better position there. Rather keep this fish upstream of me if possible. Big strong fish. I don't think he'll be done yet. Still on his terms at the moment. He will start to tire. He can't do this all day. We're both still going backwards. We're up in the Trent at this rate. Big male fish. Huge dorsal fin. Enormous dorsal fin. He's taking line. He's actually taking line still. Try and stay as calm as possible. I'm in a good position. If he comes off now, it's just bad luck. I'm in a good position at the moment. Nah, he's a strong fish. It's a powerful fish. He's got a lot of marks on him. He's clearly had a close scrape with some kind of predator at some point. Nah, he's not even close. I don't want to go too much further downstream with this guy because it gets pretty deep on our bank. What I don't want to do now is start trying to apply pressure. I don't need to do that. The rod's doing that for me. Taking a little bit of line again. Bit of a stalemate at the moment. Terrified trying to gain line on him. I don't want to pull those hooks. Massive dorsal fin, absolutely huge. I imagine he can just stick that up. It's just like pulling back on a plastic bag in the water. Really don't want to lose any more ground onto him. If I have to go another 10 steps downstream, I'm getting towards really deep, powerful water. And I must be nearly 100 metres from where I hooked this fish. Take a very small gamble here. Obviously I've got the drag set. It's a 4-weight rod, but it's reasonably soft. I'm just gonna apply a little bit of pressure on this fish. See, he's pulled back against that pressure straight away, so he's clearly still fresh. Okay, he's up in the water. First time basically all fight that he's been up in the water. But he is on those shallows over there. There's plenty of snags and stuff over there for him. No, not that tree. No. So at this point we have to do something about it because with 3 flies on, I can't have him going in those tree branches. Turned him. Okay. Gained loads of line on him in the process as well. See, he must be tiring now, surely. I know I am. Gosh, a belter. No. He's had a real scrape with the predator. But he is in the net. Yes! Woo! So when you come out to do a grayling video on your last grayling session of the season, you're kind of hoping that something spectacular is going to happen, but it's never guaranteed, particularly as it's been a pretty difficult grayling season. But That was exactly what I was hoping for. What a fish. Old warrior, a few scars on him, ever so strong. Absolutely incredible fish. So much respect for what these guys go through. Crazy creatures, so cool. Alrighty bud, let's get you back. Spot on, as strong as he was when I first hooked him. That's perfect. I'll be perfectly honest, I wasn't expecting one of those today, but I'll take it. I just knew from the second I hooked the fish and just saw a flash of something that was going to be a big fish. And what a scrap. It's not often you get a grayling do that. I guess time of year, you know, they're full of food, they're getting ready to spawn, they're full of energy. I'll be honest, if I don't catch another fish for the rest of the day, it won't really matter. That said, I am going to try. Interesting that fish was from an area that I had put a few casts over before and hadn't really produced anything, so maybe I need to put a few more casts over that area. There could be a shoal of fish, and because that fish did most of its fighting away from the area, there's no reason why those fish should be too badly disturbed by what just happened. I can't believe that was so cool. A really pretty fish, a little bit of damage to it, but clearly a bit of a warrior, a survivor, and I'm absolutely confident that having gone back into that pool, he's going to go on and live a very happy life. Hopefully he's not told the rest of the grayling what's going on, because we need to go and catch another one. So unsurprisingly, I'm not going to make too many changes to the rig. I'm not sure if I mentioned it during the process, but that fish was actually on that mini pink quill again. It's a really good little fly that is in these conditions. Nice, subtle, just a little morsel, but nothing too overt, nothing too scary. Just seen a fish rise on the far side again, and that was a grayling. So I'm going to keep an eye on what happens with this hatch. I am getting drawn to the idea of throwing that dry fly rig. I'm not going to lie, I really would like to catch a grayling before the end of the season, and the likelihood is this is my last session before the end of the season, so it'd be great to get one on a dry. Try that one out towards that bubble line again. Looks a good area, that does. I have seen fish rising down through there in the last few minutes. There are fish there. Really tempted to pick up that dry fly rod. Just like that. There's a riser. That was a grayling. Executive decision. This is the last drift on the nymph rig for the moment. I'm going to go and rig that dry fly rod up. Try and get this dry fly grayling out in the system. Let's do it. So I've taken that time out to change the Nymphing rig over to a dry fly rig. I've got this rod at its 9.5 foot 3-weight setting. I'm really looking forward to trying this. Actually, it's the first time I've cast a fly line on it. Even while I was re-rigging, I was watching this fish over here rise. Is kind of on the line that I'm pointing on now, in that bubble line. One thing I have realised is that while I was really excited about throwing a dry fly today, I haven't put any dressing or floating in my bag. So, and all the dry flies I've got with me are CDC. So once this goes under or sinks or gets eaten, I'm basically going to have to change the fly. That's about right, that's a good area. It's been a long time since I cast a dry fly, I'd be a bit rusty here, I reckon. So I've gone for a little quill CDC. I say little, it's about size 14. It's very effective large dark olive imitation. I'm assuming that's what these fish are eating, because that's what I've seen hatch. A couple of good drifts there, he's not eating it yet. Maybe I just haven't found his line. Let's try that. Bit of drag, that's not going to help. I would usually have, oh! There he is, yeah, I got him. He was a bit further back than I realised, but it is a grayling. Come on, grayling on the dry fly. Oh my goodness, heart's pounding. Come on, yeah! It's one on a dry. That's so freaking cool. I don't care that now that fly is totally trashed. It's a grayling on a dry. Hooks out, fell out in the net, that's good news. Where are we? There he is. Lovely little fish, and the first one on the dry for 2021. Awesome. Well, that was exciting. As I was saying just before actually I hooked the fish, I had to change the fly because it was waterlogged and I've got no way of drying it out on the bank here. Got no powders, no floatants, no elastic band, nothing. I've changed the fly. I've actually gone for a different pattern just out of the way and experiment. I don't think that was the fish that I was targeting, so I'm going to go back up into the same area and have a look. But what I'm going to do first before that is just put a few casts over a spot that I saw a fish rising earlier. It's not going to be much more than 2 or 3 casts. Got a little quill emerger on, nice looking fly. That was my big thing for today ticked off. That big fish was an absolute bonus, but what I really wanted to do today was try and get one on a dry. So to have that done, that's really, really cool. Oh, and another one. I think that was the fish I was trying to catch initially. That's another grayling. Jeez, you like that? Absolutely wallop that. Yeah, another grayling. Oh my goodness, what a session this is turning into. Fantastic. Let's have a look at you, bud. What we got? Beautiful silver grayling. Gorgeous fish on a dry. Yes, get in. Obviously, if I see any more rises, I'll be picking the other rod up straight away, but there's a bit of an absence of rises at the moment, so I think I'm doing the right thing here by going back onto the nymphs. Let's pop a few up here. The other thing is that this has now been rested. The dry fly rod probably took me 25-30 minutes in total with rigging up and all of that stuff, so it's been about half an hour here where this piece of river hasn't really been touched. So any fish that were a bit cagey will have had a chance to come back, get into their feeding positions and crack on. Okay, doke, I've made the change. I've put the 4mm on. I don't think I need to go mega heavy with this. It's not particularly fast water, but you know, only half that drift before was actually down on the deck, whereas that's down straight away. That's better. There's a fish. Exactly where I thought they would be, right up the middle. It's deep up there. And what have you taken? He's taken that mini pink quill again. Oh, okay, I missed him with the net. Yeah, he took the mini pink quill. Just nicked in there. Yeah, a little bit of damage on him. Clearly had a scrape with a predator, but survived it. Good on him. It's just a question there of getting down a little bit deeper, a little bit faster. I know there's a shelf and a bit of a lip, gravelly stuff that they'll sit on, and I just wasn't getting down to those fish in time. Could move up a little bit and fish this from slightly shorter range, but I really want to stay away from the pool as much as possible, just because the water's so clear. This fish will be spooky. There we go. We're finding them now. We're finding them. I'm pretty sure it's another grayling. Nice fish. Lovely fight so far. Gone berserk. Could it be a trout? No, definitely a grayling. Definitely a grayling. Strong fish. There we go. Mini pink quill again doing the business. Absolute game changer. Clear water, subtle flies. Solid fish that. That's chunky, healthy grayling. Nice. That's the right kind of area, straight up the middle. Lovely positive takes as well. Oh, I think I've just missed one. Oh, I've just seen a fish rise to my right hand side. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Problem is now I'm watching both the indicator I'm watching the indicator and the area where that fish rose. Guarantee I'm going to miss one or both of them. Oh, that's exactly what I was just talking about. I got distracted by a sound off my right shoulder, looked away from the indicator, and when I looked back it had gone. Concentrate, Andy. Oh, he's just risen again. I knew that'd happen. Oh wow, there's a fish. Yeah, that's not a grayling. That's gone absolutely flying off. I wish grayling did this. I've got a feeling that's going to be one of them stocky rainbows. Feels a heavy fish, whatever it is. It's like a really ponderous weight. Feels really heavy. Oof, big head shake. Must be a stocky rainbow. Oh, if we got to come towards me a little bit. I haven't seen it yet. Still quite a long way down. Back off from this pool a second. Okay, so he's shot downstream now. Ah, wow. Okay. Yep. I've got a feeling I'm running after this guy in a second. Just got a glimpse of something there. I'm not entirely sure what it was. But fish. That's as much as I know. It's gone onto the shallows. That makes me think trout. Grayling don't often do that. Yeah, brownie. Looks like he's got wrapped up in the tippet actually, which might explain why he's gone onto the shallows. He's right under that bank. It's definitely wrapped up in the tippet. I can tell by the way it's tilting its head. I'm sorry I've had to walk out the main camera again, but I'd like to get this fish in the net. It's an enormous wild brown. Kind of fish that in 10 days time would be the absolute prize of the season. Keeps going for my legs. He likes the look of my waders as something to catch those flies on. I just don't feel like I've got a whole lot of control over this fish, but he is in the net. Oh my goodness, what a fish that is. Absolutely incredible wild brown. Could barely even get him in the screen. Huge fish. That'd be £2 all day. Incredible fish. That is a beauty. Big wild fish. Hopefully that did plenty of spawning over this winter. Good strong dove brown trout. They're incredible fish. Best trout in the world. Well, I would say that, of course. Right, one more grayling. Ooh, there we go. There we go. I'd say that probably doesn't feel like a grayling again. Haven't seen it yet. I'd be surprised if that was a grayling. Yeah, it's a brownie. I've got a feeling I just heard the battery on the camera behind me die. Yeah, wildy. Lovely fish, beautiful looking fish. Again, just want to see these guys in a few weeks, not today. Gorgeous wild dove brown. Beautiful as they come. Brilliant fish. So yeah, sorry about the battery going on the other camera. That means I've fished for probably just over 2 hours in total now, and it's been a pretty action-packed couple of hours. Obviously that's 2 trout in a row out of that pool now on the nymph, so I'm not going to fish there again. I just wonder if there's a big population of trout in there. I don't want to keep picking those guys off. While I was playing that fish, the grayling that has been rising down here rose again, so I've picked up the dry fly rod again, and this is going to be my final target fish. I either catch this fish or I don't, and then I'm going to call it a day, because to be honest I've had such a good day. I don't feel the need to keep fishing too much longer. It's been so much fun, but this would be the icing on the cake if I could catch this fish. It's been pretty elusive. Obviously as soon as I pick the dry fly rod up, that wind's got up again. We'll do our best to work around it. And that is that, folks. That is the end of the day. I have to say I've fished for about 2 hours there, and to be honest I feel like that's enough. I've caught plenty of fish, I've had loads of action, I've really enjoyed it. I don't think the dry fly fishing is going to get any better because this wind really isn't going anywhere now. It's pretty consistent. But I've done what I wanted to do from the day, and I've pretty much done what I wanted to from the season. And what a season it's been, what a weird one it's been. Totally unusual. I've done loads of fishing, loads of grayling fishing. Both myself and IB have really enjoyed it. And I think this final session pretty much sums it all up. We've had good numbers of fish, one really good fish. There's some normal out-season brown trout. Actually, I think those couple of out-season brownies are just the little bit of hope that you need at the start of the trout season. They've really got my juices flowing. You know, you're thinking now, geez, there's fish of that size down there. They're there to catch. Hopefully in a couple of months' time that guy's going to be rising on mayflies, and we'll be able to pick him off on a vlog for all of you guys to watch. That would be really fun. Once again, I want to say a huge thank you to you guys for sticking with IB and I during this winter season. We know it's been a little bit limited. We know it's been a little bit one-dimensional with the grayling fishing in kind of the same places, but it's as much as we've got locally to us, and we want to stick within the rules. So huge thank you to everyone for supporting the channel. On the subject of grayling fishing and supporting the channel, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who has supported the channel by buying one of the grayling boxes, one of the grayling fly selections from the web shop. That's been really appreciated. It's been really nice to get nice messages. People send photos and stuff saying they'd caught fish on a particular fly from one of the boxes. All of the fish that have been caught on today's vlog, and to be honest, all of the fish that have been caught for basically the whole winter, have been caught on flies that are in those grayling boxes. So looking forward towards the next grayling season. If you're looking for some new flies or a little bit of inspiration, take yourself over to the web shop and have a look. In the meantime, you'll find the hats, new merchandise coming, new flies coming, all kinds of cool stuff coming at the web shop. We really appreciate all the support from you guys on that one. We couldn't do that one without you, literally. On that note, guys, I'm going to go home, get warm, do some editing, and feel very, very smug about how today's gone and about how the season's gone. I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed sharing it with you guys, and we're now really excited about the trout season. It's all about to happen. Dry fly fishing, wild brown trout, wild rainbow trout. It's going to be an epic season. Really looking forward to sharing it with you guys. Take care, folks. Bye bye.